of the divine command to invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and some of the sunnah supplications. عن النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الدعاء هو العبادة. عن Nu'man ibn Bashir, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, dua, supplication, is worship. And this hadith is reported by Abu Dawood in a section of prayer, and Tirmidhi in a section of exegesis of the Quran and supplications, and Ahmad in his Musnad. So this hadith is where the Prophet ﷺ, it's jawami', as the Prophet ﷺ was mentioned, I've been given comprehensive speech, and this is a primary example of it. Comprehensive speech is when he says something, it has a lot of meaning. It's very rich. You can explain it in voluminous books, if you will. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, Inni utitu bi jawami' al-kalam, as he mentioned in another hadith speaking about his statements, what he says is very, very rich, even if it's a couple of words, unlike us as human beings. And also because he's been given revelation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the revelation is the Quran. So when he says here, ad-du'a'u huwa al-ibadah, supplication is worship. Who can tell me how supplication is worship? He says supplication is worship. How if you were to read this at home with your children, and you have knowledge of what dua is, and you have knowledge of worship, and you know a little of mathematics, because 1 + 1 = 2. So how would you explain this? Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. I'm about to ask the two gentlemen that are talking from way over there. You know who you are. You know I'll call you out. Focus. Phone down. Focus. 5 minutes. Now, ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Dua is worship. Supplicate. What is dua? The dua is to get accepted. Is that what you said? You make it. What is the it? You make it for other people. So what is the it? Say it again. Yes. You ask. Ask who? Baba? The creator of Baba, right? Yes. So dua is what? Is asking. Huwa nida. It is to call. And this call is an ask to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So how is this worship? What is worship? What is worship? Let me give it to you, brother. You do something for the sake of pleasing Allah. Okay. You do something for the sake of pleasing Allah. So your motivation behind it is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So there's even a hierarchy of intentions. You may do something because you want to feel good about yourself. You may do something because you want Jannah. But the highest portion is you're doing it because Allah is pleased with it. You're doing it because Allah is pleased with it. And that's the highest level. Right? That Allah is pleased with the action that you're doing. So when we're talking about worship, it is doing something to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or doing something that Allah loves and is pleased with, right? How do we join the two? Asking Allah, doing something that Allah loves and is pleased with. How do we join the two? Huh? Salah, supplication. I need you to be a little, to explain it to me. So if your son or daughter, hypothetically speaking.
So in return to Allah for any help, Allah will be pleased because you come to Him. So you ask help to Allah. So Allah will be pleased that you are coming to Him.
Ahsantum. Nah. Submit. Okay, so let's add those two right there, right? So you ask Allah, Allah is pleased that you come to Him, right? And that is supplication. You're asking Allah. Why is Allah pleased that you came to Him?
Because you understood that He is the Creator. You can do that.
You understood that He is the Creator. You understood that He is the what as well? The God that does what? That what? Creates? Yes, but when it comes to dua, you're asking Allah because what? Can you send down the rain tomorrow just by chance? Can you send down the rain tomorrow just by chance? It was kind of windy. I need some, my grass is dying. Are you able to send down the rain tomorrow? Huh? No? Who can send down the rain tomorrow? Any takers? Yeah? Right? So I'm asking Allah because what? He's the one who is capable. That is why you ask him, and that is why he's pleased, because you're putting things in their proper place. That is why it's worship. Is everyone with me? You're asking Allah because you are sure, Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijaba. As Prophet said, ask Allah and you are sure that He is capable of answering the dua. That He's capable. You would not ask a mechanic for a blood pressure test. Right? Nor would you ask a doctor for what? An oil change. Right? He's not qualified. He's not the one that's... But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you ask Him, this is why He is pleased, because you're resorting to Him. That is why it is worship. Because you are relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and proof of your reliance is calling on Him. That is why dua, huwa ish? Dua is what? Worship. That is why dua is worship. One condition when you're making dua. What's the only condition? You believe that Allah is capable of fulfilling it when He wishes to. Right? Because if we make dua and then we don't get it on Tuesday at 6:23, should that alter our trust in Him? No. But we as human beings, what may happen? What? We're impatient. We're forgetful. That's why our mankind is called what? Surah, the last chapter is called what? Nas. Nas comes from the verb in Arabic. Arabic's a beautiful language, and I'll end here. Arabic is such a beautiful language that scholars of the language, some different said, are nouns derived from verbs or are verbs derived from nouns? So you have nas or insan. It comes from nasiya, which means to be forgetful. But also some scholars say insan comes from uns, which means social, like wanting uns, to be with someone, right? So when scholars say nasiya, forgetful, we may be forgetful of the properties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and may rely on ourselves. We may be forgetful and ask someone before asking Allah. The person is able to do it. We go to the doctor and we ask for medicine, but we don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the cure initially. This is an aspect of us as insan. Allah has created us with this reality. That's why it's a test and a challenge always for us to always turn back to Him in different situations. And when you voluntarily do that, that is what Allah is pleased with. That is what the Creator is pleased with. That is what God is pleased with. When you voluntarily turn to Allah because you know He has the capability to respond to any and everything that you ask for. That is why it is worship, inshallah. Right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that call Him sirran wa alaniya, in secret and in open. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that always rely on Him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that if our dua is not answered when we want it, we know that He answers it based on His condition, His knowledge, His wisdom, His strength, His mercy, His love. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. Oh Allah, make us from the people of the Quran, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, make us of those that call on You in secret and in open, day and in night, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, make us never of those that are disappointed in Your predestination, what You choose to happen and what You choose to give us and what You choose to take away, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, make us of those that rely on You and You are in knowing that You are the one that are going to protect us in this world and protect the ones that have been oppressed in the next life. And Ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi